This story happened to one of my friends in 80s. It was spring, May. May is the most beautiful month in Yakutia in my opinion. This is when the spring comes in at a rapid speed and the nature changes from cold winter to warm summer in the duration of just 1 month. The days are getting longer and longer, the sunshine is getting warmer and warmer. So naturally, this is the best time to get out in the nature after just having braved yet another long and cold Yakutian winter. So did my friend's classmates. They decided to go on a school trip to the forest. They were planning to stay overnight. Everyone brought their tents and other camping gear, and they set off in the bus to the nearby forest led by a couple of teachers. They have discovered a lovely forest meadow where they set up a camp. Girls were preparing some food while the boys were setting up the fire. Everyone was running amok, of course, playing some volleyball in between the tasks, chasing one another, and all in all having lots of fun. It was evening when the food was finally ready. Children and teachers huddled around the campfire and were eating their tastiest camp supplies with some awesome appetite. It was getting a bit darker. Here, my friends, I must mention that it does not get too dark in May, as so-called white nights are setting in Yakutia at this time of the year. They start in May and last till end July-August. White nights is a natural phenomenon, almost like a polar day or midnight sun. For those who never heard of it, midnight sun, this is when the sun does not set below the horizon at all during the night. This happens in some places on the planet at certain latitude north of Arctic Circle. As central Yakutia doesn't sit quite at that latitude, the sun does actually go down below the horizon, but only for a couple of hours, so it is never really dark during the night, more like a twilight. So the night was setting in, and the teachers started prepping to sleep. I bet they had a tough time trying to calm down a bunch of excited kids on a white night away from home. Try to sleep when the last rays of sun are still visible past 10 p.m. So kids were misbehaving, and a bunch of boys, including my friend, ran into the forest pretending that they needed to go to the loo. Instead, they were just walking around the forest and telling some creepy stories, trying to spook the hell from one another. They have succeeded quite easily. Yakutian forest is a creepy place, even on a white night. Whenever you are there, you feel like someone is watching you all the time. You know that feeling where you can swear that if you turn around, you feel something staring at you from behind a tree or from the branches overhead. Older, wiser Yakuts always say that you need to walk through the forest as if you are walking past by a sleeping man, very quietly, no shouting, trying not to disturb things unnecessarily. They treat forests with deep respect and even ask permission to pass by or collect anything from there. So the boys were still there in the forest, getting pretty jumpy from all their scary stories, and totally on the lookout for any danger, when they did notice a man's face in the bushes about 100 meters away from them. The face was peering at them from behind the vegetation, and it was dark to make out its features in semi-darkness. It looked more like a white spot. The boys thought it must be one of their mates hiding behind the trees and trying to give them a jump scare. So they shouted to him, "Hey, come out! We spotted you!" But no one came out. Meanwhile, the face was still there, swaying silently from side to side, as if someone who was sitting behind these bushes was shifting from one foot to another. The silence felt eerie, and the boys stopped shouting. Old warnings about forest code of conduct came flooding their minds. The boys kept looking at the face as if mesmerized. The face was swaying from side to side, rising and falling, sort of like a snake dance, right before the attack. Then the face started quickly rising above the ground, still in amongst the trees. They could see the white spot of a face surrounded by long black hair getting higher and higher, all the way to the treetops. They could not see the body, as it was still concealed behind the tree trunks. Now it was impossible. If someone was climbing a tree, they would hear the branches rustle and break under the weight of the body. Anyway, no man could climb the tree so fast. It all looked like the horrible creature was rising, getting ready to step out from behind the trees and launch at them in the next moment. This is when the boys ran. They ran as fast as they could and quickly reached the camp. They have screamed in terror and everyone came out of their tents. Girls started crying. Teachers were trying to get the details from the terrified bunch of boys who were so scared they could not speak straight. Once the boys mentioned a tall creature in the woods, the teachers gave order to quickly get their stuff and get back in the bus. They drove back to the city as fast as they could, right in the middle of the night. My friend always said that they were very lucky to be alive. And after that he was always very careful whenever he visited the forest. He always told me to keep my voice down. Thank you for listening and have a nice nightmare.